Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And we love having authors come on, sharing their story. And in this case, we're talking about our good friend, Scovia Rushing. She has her book, Scovia Learns. She has Melanin. We'll talk all about this book, her story, and so much more. But Scovia, how are you doing?
I am so blessed today. Thank you so much for having me today.
Absolutely. So you and I met years ago, and you have an amazing story of coming over here to America. Give us a little bit of your background, your story, and then we'll talk all about the book and so much more.
Sure thing. Thank you. So I am originally from Sudan before independence. That happened in 2011. During Sudan and all the turmoil it's been going through for a long time, my family had to flee Sudan and go to a refugee camp in Kenya. So that's more East Africa. Lived in a refugee camp for a couple of years, moved again to Uganda and Kampala for education. And we were blessed enough to end up in Memphis, Tennessee. So yeah, that's a little glimpse about me.
One of the things that I've always appreciated is you've never forgotten your home country,
Mm-hmm.
and you talk often about just what's going on and trying to raise awareness. And so give us a little bit of a glimpse of when you talk about being a refugee, having to flee your home country, just give us a little bit of what that's like in your world.
Got you. So I was quite young when we moved from Sudan or out of Sudan to that refugee camp. So to a young child, I did not know I was in a refugee camp. Just like any child in an environment that isn't safe, they don't know any better. Of course, it's the adults. But now that I'm older and seeing all that was going on, it's quite sad. And I am very blessed to have parents that, one, took care of me and my siblings, but also them having the thought of we need to leave and build a better future for our kids. And so, of course, it's not a great position to be in a refugee camp, but it's quite safe because you're not in a war zone.
When you talk about the transition over to America, give us a little bit of what that was like. Was it easy, difficult? I know that Power Rangers is something that you thought you would find here in America, but what was the transition like?
Right. Again, this is the mind of a 9-year-old, right? Coming to the States, or 10, coming to the States, I was quite excited. I did not realize we were going to come and stay. I thought it was a vacation. And so when they told us, hey, so you're going to be going to America, I was like, yeah. So all the TV shows that we were watching on the telly, Power Rangers included, I was so excited to meet Pink Ranger. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. So coming to the States, we took 6 different planes. Again, exciting because I'd never been on a flight before. From Uganda is where we started. We went back to Kenya. And then after that, we went all the way to Europe. And after Europe, we came to the States to New York. And so when we got to New York, I was like, we have arrived, okay? Because you see all the big buildings, Lady Liberty's there. And I thought that was our last spot because it's America. We made it. We stayed in a hotel, I think, for a couple days, and I thought that was the best thing ever. You have room service, TV in your room. I'd never had anything like that before, and I'll never forget. We ordered pizza, and they just rung the door. The doorbell came in. I was like, oh, we have made it. We have made it. So where is my Pink Ranger? I'm ready to see him now. But sadly, we didn't stay in New York because our last destination was Memphis. From New York, went to Chicago, and then Chicago to Memphis. And I'll never forget, I was at the window seat. My grandfather was right next to me, and all I see are trees, okay? I guess coming from the Chicago flight to Memphis, I see trees. I don't see tall buildings. I don't see any Power Rangers flying around, and I turned to my grandfather, and I was like, Grandpa, where are we going? And he was like, oh, we're going to Memphis. I was like, why are we going back to Egypt? I did not understand that America also had Memphis, but it was Memphis, Tennessee, not Memphis, Egypt.
So talk about your life now, because you're also a mother now and a consultant. And so you've got the business side, you got the mother side, wife, it goes on and on and on. So you've built your family here. So talk about being now, local rooted.
Yes, I love Memphis. I've always said Memphis is very magical in the sense of Memphis is honest. It will show you the poor sides of Memphis and also the rich sides of Memphis. I'm in all in between. So I love that Memphis is very magical, that it is very honest about what it has. Living in Memphis, I attended ECS, it was Evangelical Christian School, and there is where I got my passion for reading and writing. After graduating from that private school, I attended the University of Memphis. Woo, go Tigers, love it. I did everything there, getting involved, and kind of just built my passion for leadership. After that, I got a dream job working for a nonprofit locally here that was kind of giving back to Sudan. And I just felt like that was the coolest thing to be able to give back to a place that was so hurt, it was very hurtful leaving that, but also being able to give back to the people that are still back there. And then after that organization, I had an incredible opportunity to work for the private sector, doing more educational things and writing. So more into my passion and what I love, going to the public relations aspect of my career. And after that, the pandemic happened during my work at that private sector. Which kind of left me puzzled. Like, okay, what more am I able to do? And so in that time period, I got engaged and married, have an incredible husband who's very supportive, have a house here in Memphis and just living the dream in Memphis. But after the pandemic happened and not being able to do the job that was more community based, and getting students out in the community, I was not able to do that anymore. And so sitting at home, we got pregnant. Woo! So in that time, I guess all the pandemic babies, I asked myself, what all am I able to do? Yes, I will become a mother, but I have 9 months before that happens. And I can always consult, which I did for small local businesses here. And I still do that, which I enjoy. But I also said, God, in my heart, I've always wanted to write children's books. I love kids. How can I tie that into my career? And I did research. I talked to a few people that kind of helped me cultivate this passion of like, I can do this. I reached out to the Department of Journalism at the University of Memphis, and some of those professors were like, Scovia, you got this. If you need anything, we'll be there to critique or read. Had family members helping me out. So it was a more a community that helped me cultivate this dream of mine that I had so long ago, but now I'm able to share with everybody, and was able to write it while the pandemic was going on. And I think the pandemic really saved me in a way. I did a talk a while back when the pandemic happened and how COVID saved my life, because it was not that great, but I saw the positive aspects of it is it gave you so much time to do things that you thought that you didn't have time for. So I had no excuses. I was like, well, I have all this time. I'm not going anywhere. Let's just buckle down and focus. And I was able to write a story that was dear to me. My grandmother taught me how I have melanin. I didn't realize I had melanin. And backstory, kind of with the book, I was in a flower garden that my grandmother always took me to, and I saw an albino in that garden. I was startled, had never seen anybody with no melanin, and an albino has zero melanin. Grandma saw how startled I was, came back home, made me tea, and I sat on her lap, and she went on saying, yeah, I saw how, scared you were. Can we talk about it? I was like, yeah, absolutely. So she goes on to explaining, how much do you like flowers, Scovia? I said, I love them very much, grandmother. And she was like, what happens when you pull a flower out of the ground? I said, Grandma, it dies. Why would you ask me that? She's like, exactly. Just like people, if you are scared of them, if you don't go and approach them just to learn more about them, it will hurt their insides. And so she was like, Scovia, you are like a red rose, hence the red, right? I'm a red rose, and the albino is like a white lily. They're all flowers, beautiful in their differences, but the main thing is they need soil, they need water, and they need sunlight, just like us. Right. And so she kind of taught me my different skin tone is just melanin, and it's a gift from God. And so, tying in with all the things, motherhood, writing children's books, consulting, it is, it's been incredible and an amazing journey that I'm blessed to have because of my husband.
Well, and I think, I mean, you articulately shared the story. And I think, when you talk about the book, once again, Scovia learned she has melanin. And so here is the book right here in my hands. But I love the two major kind of themes. One is, as you mentioned, if you pull a flower out of the soil, it dies, and so it needs the nourishment, the praise, the uplifting, the support, all of those things, the nourishment, physical, spiritual, mental, all of that piece of it. But then also too, the melanin is a blessing. I think that is a powerful storyline as well in terms of what it means for especially young boys and girls realizing that, what, being African American, being Black, like that's power, that's confidence, that's support, we should be embracing that. And I think that's a really important storyline, especially for the Mid-South and beyond, that I think both of those independently are really great pieces of the story, but together makes it a really powerful, especially kids book. But even for an adult reading it, it's like, they're great lessons that you learn reading this book. So kudos for weaving those in.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and I receive it. Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. So talk about the book in terms of where people can buy it and where it's available.
Absolutely. So I am on Amazon. So if you go to your Amazon account and type in Scovia Learns She Has Melanin, it will pop up. You can also find it locally at Covenant's Corner, which is inside the Independent Presbyterian Church on Walnut Grove. So for all my local people, that's where you can get it. But international people, Amazon. Amazon, but you can always reach out to me if you need a signed copy or something like that.
And give a little praise and shout out too when you talk about the illustrations and
Yes.
Everything coming together.
Yes. Cameron Wilson. He is not related to me because my my past name was Scovia Wilson. They're like, "Is that your brother?" I'm like, "No, I have an older brother, but he's not it." But he's an incredible illustrator. You can follow him on Instagram. Let me make sure that I get his handle right. But he has done so many incredible illustrations for so many people. He's been on the New York Times, I believe, as well. Okay, you can find him at Cameron T. Wilson on Instagram. You just check him out. He's incredible. And if you ever want to write a children's book, you can reach out to me and I can get you connected with him and he will kind of show you the process of that. So, yeah.
So what's next? So you have the children's book out. You are now a published author. And so you've got the book, the consulting, motherhood, being a wife, being a homeowner. What's next on the horizon?
I love it. Thank you for asking. So, with all of that, I also joined the Junior League of Memphis because I wanted to keep myself connected and plugged in with incredible women. And if anybody who doesn't know, the Junior League of Memphis is an organization of women committed to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and improving communities through effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. And its purpose exclusively is educational and charitable. And when I read that and saw what they did, it spoke to me and I really wanted to join that organization. And now 2 years in, I am chairing a committee called G.R.O.W, Brewster Pre-K Reading and Readiness. This year, I'm very excited about that because I get to help pre-K students and also kindergarten students have a passion for reading and their literacy, right? I pray that it goes up this year and many more years to come. But with that, that is what I'm doing currently. And I'm also translating the first children's book, The Scovia Learns She Has Melanin, into French. And so my French people will have the book in French. And I'll also be translating into Spanish. And so my Hispanics can also have that in their own mother tongue. So that is what I'm currently doing.
I love it.
Yeah.
What, kind of carrying that forward into the different iterations and possibilities for this book,
Mhm.
what's your hopes in terms of the impact of this book?
Gosh, I pray that whenever or whomever is reading that book, they embrace themselves, they embrace the community that they're living in. They know that they are a light, a smile, and a miracle, and that they receive all the power that they have inside of them to be great because that's exactly who they are, and not to be a victim to anything that goes on in their life because they're more than that. And so I always leave people and I pray that they embrace being a light, being a smile, and being a miracle, because you can't do those things. When you do those things, you get tired. You get tired of doing a light. Like, you can't do that. You can just be it and exude it with elegance and poise. And so, yeah, that is my hope for the book, that all the kids and parents embrace who they are and who their children are, and who they are in this world. Yeah.
Absolutely. I love it. Wrap up with contact information. So your website, social media handles, where do we go to follow your efforts?
All the things. On LinkedIn, I'm Scovia Rushing. On Instagram, I am 2_ Kolongi, Kolongi. It is my African name called Queen. That is what it means. On Facebook, I'm Scovia Rushing, and my website is scoviarushing.com.
That makes it easy. Well, Scovia, thank you for all you do and for coming on the show. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a blessed day, Jeremy.